Hello guys, in this new course, I'm going to teach you guys how to go from absolute scratch, never touching any line of code, to becoming a game developer who can make any game that you want. And starting with the first episode in the series, before we even get to a game engine like Unreal Engine, I'm actually going to be going to Scratch. Now, the reason for this is because Scratch is very beginner friendly, and this is the perfect way to get you started before you start diving into 3D. Now, really quick before we start making a game, I do want to say I am making an actual 3D game on Unreal Engine called Kira Legends. It's a game where you can experience an action-packed RPG with different abilities, including transforming into a dragon, which will be made later in the game. Now, if you like this type of game, make sure to wishlist. Anyways, let's get back to the video. So, make sure that you log in onto Scratch, and then the next thing you want to do is click this create button right here. And make sure you create a project. And you can name this whatever you want. You can literally just call it my first project. Now over here is the sprite panel, and basically a sprite panel is like an object. So this cat right here, this is a sprite, and this will make more sense later. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense. We can just delete him because we can make our own. So if you hover over this cat and then you click on paint, then you go to costumes. Right here, this is where the costumes is where you will make what the actual sprite looks like. And then you can go to sounds to get sounds, but you can also go to code right here. This is where you actually program the sprite to see how it works. So for the costume, let's just create our own thing. You can also choose a sprite right here on a library over here. But I want to teach you guys how to make your own art. So what we can do is we can go into a circle, change the fill to white, and have the outline be black, and just make whatever art you want. I'm thinking I'll make a spaceship for this though. It'll be like a spaceship flying game. And then right here we can make another circle, make it red, and then oops, undo that, sorry. We have to make a new circle first before we can color it. And this right here can be red, right here. And actually, sorry, what would be better is to use a square, like so, right here. And then what we could do is, if we click this button right here, we can move some of these areas right here, like this. And then we can just connect it right here, and then copy and paste and flip horizontally. Now this art obviously does not look good. You guys can spend a lot more time making actual good art. I'm just trying to show you guys how this works. And then we can go and get a darker gray color, like so. And we'll just do that right there. And then what I like to do is copy and paste it. But this time it'll be blue. So I'm actually making a window right here. Turn up the saturation, get a blue, there we go. And then just shrink it down a little bit. There we go. And then we can drag select everything and click group, and then put it in the middle right here. That is my very ugly spaceship. One thing I do want to add though, actually real quick, is a box right here. Sorry, undo that. Make sure it actually has a fill. Sorry, you want to go in here and then go on fill. Sometimes it's kind of annoying how it works. And then, as you can see right here, I'm going to add a box right here. And it's going to be pretty simple how this works. This is going to be the bottom of the plane. Okay. And then, cool thing you can do is you can click backward, and that's going to be a layer behind right here, and we can just shrink this down a little bit, and that is a very basic spaceship. Definitely doesn't look the best. And then I can select everything, make this a little bigger, and put this in the middle. Okay, and then right here I'm actually going to change the size down. That's actually too big. Okay, so now that we got the actual object, it's time to do some code. Now, if you go down to events, there's this one flag is clicked, just drag this out. Now when the flag is clicked is when you actually start the game. And off of one flag is clicked, we want it to start somewhere over here. And this is going to get the X and the Y value. And we just go to motion and click get this go to X 13 and Y negative 82. That's just going to put on the X of 13 and the Y of negative 82. So you see, even if we move it around when we start the game, it goes back over here. And then how this is going to work is I'm thinking it's going to be where you can fly around with the spaceship, but as you run out of fuel, you go down, and then you need to collect fuel to be able to fly again and keep on surviving meteors and stuff like that. So what we could do is go on events. Now this is how we get inputs. Get a one space key is pressed. And so when this space key is pressed, what we can do is we can change the Y by, let's say, 10, and that's just going to make it go up on the Y, as so. Only problem is it doesn't look very smooth, does it? So what you want to do is get a control block and repeat until, and then go to operators, this green thing right here. And then what you want to do is first, you want to go operators and get a not, and then go to sensing, and then get a key space pressed. Basically how this works, it's going to keep on changing your Y while you hold down the space until you stop holding the Y. And sorry, you stop holding down the space button. And it should be more smooth like that. I might lower that down. There you go, see? Now, one thing I do want to do is make it where you go down automatically and you have to keep on flying up, but it uses up some of your fuel. So what we can do is go to control and then drag a forever loop. And a loop is just going to have something happen forever and forever based off the loop. This right here is a repeat loop, but this is a forever loop. And then what we could do is always be changing Y by -1. Let's make it go down by 1. And as you can see here, it'll keep on going down, but we can keep on going up. Might want to set this up to something like 4. Like that, there we go. Now, the last thing I want to do for this video really quick is add some decent controls. So on events, one space key is pressed. What we can put here instead is a left arrow. Okay, so right here, when the left arrow is clicked, we can just do the exact same stuff, but instead we'll change the X value. So just right click on the code, duplicate it. And then what you want to do, instead of space, put it to the left arrow, and then instead of change Y by, go to motion, and go change X by. And I want to change this by like a negative, let's say -4. And then right click, duplicate. Actually, yeah, we'll do -2 actually. Now to make it go right, we want to change the X by a positive value. So instead of one left click, we'll do one right click and change this to right click and change it by 4. And as we click the flag right here, we can move up, but we can also move left and right. As you see, we got basic movement like this right now. Basically, once space is clicked, it'll keep on going up until space is not clicked. And when left arrow is clicked, it'll change X by -2 until it's not clicked anymore. And I'll do the opposite for the right arrow. So now we got basic movement that's pretty smooth. One thing I want to show you guys that's very cool is we can duplicate this. So we can name this one spaceship, and then we can name this one spaceship flying. So we can have a flying animation. And what I could do right now is I could take a circle and I could make a little circle right here like this, but I want it to have some fill. I'll have it be red. And then what I could do here is I could drag this one up, double click to add one here, circle here. That's how you do it, by the way. You double click and like that, double click again, add it up, double click, add it up. And then from here we can copy and paste it, make it a bit smaller, change the color. This will be orange. Copy and paste it one more time right here, and then we can change the color to something like yellow. And then this is some basic fire, and then we hover all of it, and then we click group, and then we rotate it right like this, and we can put it backwards one and backwards twice like this, and that will be when the rocket is flying right here. And then what we can do is go to the code right here, and then go to looks. And to change the look of it, well, when we start the game, we want to switch the costume, the animation, to spaceship. But then when we're holding it on space, switch it to spaceship flying. And then what you can do right here is if at the operator, not, go to variables on the sensing, key space press. So if we're done hitting the space key, if we stop using the space key, then we can switch back to the old animation. Switch costume to spaceship. And let's try this out right now. Here, so as you can see, that did not work. So what we want to do is actually, it's because it's trying to run this code while we're clicking the space button. And how can you make code happen when you're not clicking the space button while you're clicking the space button? It's kind of complicated. Instead, you want to move this into the forever loop, so it's always checking when you're not clicking the space button right here, as you can see. And now we got some pretty good movement. And the final thing I want to do is, this white background is very annoying. So if you go to backdrops on stage, and then you go to backdrops right here, you can convert to bitmap, and then click this fill button. I'll just do black. And then you can fill this, and then convert to vector. And let's say I want to create some stars. I'll just change it to white, and I can go in a circle. And then I can just add some low dots here. Now it looks very ugly, but I mean it works. That's what matters, right? Okay. So far we got some basic movement and stuff. Probably have to change this background later. But yeah, hopefully this is teaching you guys the basics of Scratch. In the next video, I'm going to be creating a fuel system. So you only have a limited amount of fuel. And I might create some other stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more videos. Alright, bye guys.